So this leads into the next Yoga Sutra, which is Sutra 38. This is the fourth of the yamas. And this is called brahmacharya. And it says, by one established in continence, vigor is gained. Now, continence is a very interesting word in English because continence is actually a medical term. If somebody is incontinent, it means they can't hold their urine in, and they have very weak pelvic floor muscles. And so they are weeing themselves and they have to wear diapers. But the notion of continence is having strength and self-control, a fundamental strength and self-control. And if you look at how much we deplete all our resources in terms of the energies that we expend, how much we spread ourselves too thin, we don't have this sense of self-control. You also have to look at the context of how these teachings were delivered. Sri Patanjali was a monk. He was a sage. He was teaching the secrets of yoga to people who had made a vow of monastic livelihood, which meant vow of poverty and vow of celibacy. And in the context of this Yoga Sutra, in the context of monastic education, brahmacharya refers to celibacy and self-control in terms of celibacy. When you conserve your sexual energy, that's what it means. By the practice of continence, to one who is established in conserving their sexual energy, vigor is gained. What is this vigor? This vigor is a vital energy force. Now, if you look at the sexual energy of a male and the sexual energy of a female, and you combine both together, it is so potent, it creates a brand new life form. I don't think we stop and appreciate just how powerful that is. Within a female physical body and within a male physical body coming together, it is the potential to create a brand new life form. We create life. And the amount of energy that goes into creating life over somebody's lifetime, that's the energy that we are conserving. And if you conserve it without repressing it, over time that energy becomes crystallized, like a lump of coal becomes a diamond, and it creates a lot of vigor and vitality, which can be rechanneled into controlling the mind. When we talk a little bit about prana, prana being the life force energy, also known as qi in Chinese medicine, when you have an abundance of this prana, the most amount of prana that our physical bodies use, number one, goes into thinking and the mind. The second most amount of prana goes into our digestion and cleaning the physical body of its waste. And then it goes into talking and interacting. This is how we expend and use our prana. And the practice of yoga is to conserve this prana. Because the more prana you have conserved inside your body, the more energy you can use to control the mind. And you need a lot of prana to be able to work with the mind. This is why the science of yoga is systemized the way it is. Everything is directed towards minimizing the wastage of prana outwardly and turning it inwardly to go into self-realization. And this is directly related to the sutra brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, when you conserve your sexual energy. Now, a lot of us who are married, we use our sexual energy in a very monogamous way. But when you're young, when you are you've gone through puberty, you're interested in having sexual partners, a lot of the time we tend to overuse this sexual energy to the point where we become depleted and we lose that vitality. Now, sexual energy, when done in the right conditions, when there's mutual love and mutual respect and mutual consent, it can be elevating and energizing. But if it's done too much for the sake of it, it is very depleting on the prana. So how do you manage this as a householder? As a monk, it's very easy. You don't have sex. And what do you do with a pent-up sexual energy? Well, you have to channel it into other things. And you become very magnetic. When you crystallize this sexual energy and transfer it into prana, you have this concept called ojas. Ojas is a type of aura, a brighter sense of aura that you have in your system. And it becomes very apparent in your aura. Your nadis, your subtle nervous system, actually comes up and it creates your aura. Your aura is also made up of nadis. And the ojas is what magnifies and strengthens your subtle nervous system, which also turns into tejas, magnetism. So by conserving this energy, now if you are married, okay, I get it in the sense of monastic life, but let's say you're a householder. Well, you need to have a very open conversation. I know a group of people that follow a certain path of Raja Yoga, and they listen to the celibacy and instantly their marriage becomes a marriage without any sexual intercourse or sexual connection. And a lot of the time, unless both partners are willing and on board, usually it happens where one partner has followed this school and then they impose it on the other partner, which causes, again, violence, miscommunication, misunderstanding. So you have to decide for yourself what is moderate, keeping in mind that everybody has a different sexual drive. What is moderate to you? And it relies on an open communication. Some people will say once a week is moderate. Some people will say once a month is moderate. You need to choose and decide for yourself what makes the most sense. Now, brahmacharya, also, if you look at more Hindu cultures, and obviously the context of this book was created in India with the culture of the time and of the place. In India, you have 4 different life stages. The first one is brahmacharya, which literally translated means a student of God. And while you are actually a student, you are supposed to remain celibate and focus your whole energy on your studies. So if you look at childhood into adolescence, into young adulthood, technically all of that is devoted to schooling and studies. And it is at this time that we shouldn't really, according to traditional Hindu culture, at all focus on that. Nothing to do with sexuality. And so all your prana is devoted to gaining and learning knowledge. Then right about after high school, if you look at, especially in the old-fashioned days, people would be getting married young, from 16, 17, 18, because that was child-producing age. And so they would have the next 20 years of their lives solely dedicated to running a house, having children, raising children, working to support the family. Now, if you look at this stage of householder life, it is a busy, busy time. It is a very busy time to raise kids, extracurricular activities, work, earn some money, put them through schooling, put them through university. All the prana is focused 100% on that. And then as you come into the next, so that stage of life is called the grihastha stage of life. Once you've finished being a student, you become a family person. Then after the grihastha stage of life, you go into the vanaprastha. The kids are grown up, they're self-sufficient, and this is now a retirement age. And this is where you are still with your partner, but now your prana has evolved and you can do things that are more self-enriching. You get to travel, you get to engage in new hobbies, you get to reconnect. But obviously, your energy is very different. So the way you look after yourselves and your body, it's more about finding a new rhythm of life. And then the final stage is sannyasa. Sannyasa literally means monastic life. And this usually means one partner in your life will pass away before the other partner. And that one partner is now by his or herself again. And this is where in old age, people should again adopt monastic lifestyle. Learn the scriptures, learn the path of yoga, learn the mind so that they are prepared for their end of life. So if you look at it from its traditional context, it's actually a very logical process. It's a very logical process of living. And while you go through this cycle as a householder, the key is moderation. So in order to practice this, it's important for you to see, number one, where do you overexert and waste your energy? Do you talk too much? Practicing mauna or silence is a way to conserve your energy. Also a practice of brahmacharya. Less talking, more listening. Another practice is meditation, sense withdrawal, and we'll go into sense withdrawal. Not being outwardly focused so much, going inward. Not eating so much and fasting. Conserving the prana. Detoxing the body. Detoxing the mind. Conserving your energy. Going within. And being very moderate in how you waste your energy. So if you have brahmacharya, think about it. Think about how to move forwards in your life where you are not wasting your vital energy.